Hi everyone, my name is Jenna Jones and I am the 4-H educator for Prince George's County. 4-H and the Prince George's County Memorial Library System have teamed up together to bring you this awesome program called In Full Bloom. How many of you love the springtime? I know I do. All of the flowers start to come back and bloom. I love looking at all of the beautiful colors, and the weather gets a little bit warmer. It's how we know winter is over and spring is here. Let's talk a little bit about flowers. Flowers are the parts of plants that help make seed in order to make new plants. In order to make this seed, pollen from one flower has to go to another flower in order for pollination to happen. Flowers have beautiful colors and smell really good in order to attract pollinators. Do you know what a pollinator is? A pollinator is an animal that brings pollen from one flower to another flower. Pollinators such as bees, animals, and birds come and gather pollen from flowers. When they gather the pollen from flowers, the pollen sticks to their bodies. When they go to visit another flower to gather more pollen, the pollen from the previous flower drops into the new flower and seeds are made. Now let's discuss parts of a flower. The outside of the flower consists of petals, and these are usually brightly colored and beautiful. At the bottom of our flower, attached to our stem, which supports our flower, we have leaves. Inside of our flower, where our pollinators like to hang out, is our pistil. Now that we know all we need to know about flowers, it's time for us to make our own. For this craft, you will need glue. You can use a glue stick or a glue gun. You will need floral tape, which you can find at your local dollar store or craft store. You will need a pair of scissors. Please make sure that you have an adult with you while you are using scissors. Crayons or colored pencils or markers or anything you would like to decorate your flower with. You will also need floral wire, which you can find also at the dollar store or your local craft store. And last but not least, please print out the handout attached to this video. It should look something like this. Awesome. Now let's get started. The first thing you want to do is color your petals. And you can get as creative as you want. And that is why I asked you what your favorite flower was. Get inspired. Once you have all your petals colored, it should look something like this, or whatever design you have chosen. The next step will be to cut them out. So cut out each petal carefully. Trying not to cut out the black lines. Like so. All right, now once you've gotten all of your petals cut out, they should look something like this. And so now you're going to need your glue stick and your one piece of floral wire. So you're just going to take one at a time. And you are going to take one petal for one side, another petal. I have orange, so I'm going to keep it at orange. On the other side, And you are going to glue these 2 petals to the floral wire, just like so. All right, when you're gluing these petals together, you want to make sure you're not putting too much glue because that can make it take too long to dry. So 2 little dots will do. You also want to make sure you're taking your floral wire, you're kind of pressing it in the glue, like so. So you want to just press it into the glue. And then smush these 2 petals together. You just want to kind of close them nice and tight. And then you want to give it like maybe 1 minute to dry, 30 seconds, while you glue your next one. So altogether, you should have 6 petals. Wow. I know it doesn't look like much now, but we're moving on to our last step, guys. So you kind of want to straighten out your wire just a little bit. It's okay if it's a different length, it's fine. And you want to make sure your petals are all together. So now you're going to take your floral tape and you're going to wrap it around your floral wire. What I found easiest for me is I pulled out a bit of floral tape and I'm going to just rip it like so. If I need more, I can always go back and get more, so do not worry. But holding the tape and wrapping at the same time is a little difficult. And I would wrap at the very top as far as I can, and then I just pull it around. Pull it around. Okay, so my floral wire is a little long. So what I'm going to do is I folded it up. And when you get to the end of yours, you can do this too. Fold it up, and then you're just going to wrap. Again, just wrap. And squeeze as you go, because that'll make it easier. It'll be a little sticky, but that's okay. We're not getting too messy in this craft. Okay, so now that you have your fully wrapped flower, now it's time. It still doesn't kind of look like a flower, right? So now it's time to open your petals. Remember, it is spring. The flowers are blooming. Beautiful colors are out. Pollinators are out. And you want a good flower. So you kind of want to position your flower upright, just like so. Or you can position it any way you like. But I kind of like mine to look like my lily. And so here you guys have a finished product, and it looks like a real flower. I really like this craft, not only because you learn about flowers and the structure of flowers and about pollinators, but you can also kind of make this craft your own. So I know I kept the petals the same, but I've had people cut the petals to make them look more like tulips. You can always add more petals so you can get a fuller flower. You can always add a leaf at the bottom. Just make sure you wrap it. And it'll look just the same. But yeah, it's a kind of a cool craft. Okay, now that we've talked about flowers and we've made our flower, let's talk a little bit about our most popular pollinator. Honeybees do the most pollination out of any other insect, including ants and butterflies. Honeybees are the pollinators for many of our flowers, fruits, and vegetables. That means they help plants grow. Honeybees also live in large groups called colonies. Inside of these colonies, you have a queen who runs everything, and her main job is to make more little honeybees. Then you have the worker bees, which are all female. They have many different tasks in making sure the hive gets everything that they need. And then you also have drones, which are male bees who also help with the queen in making more little honeybees. Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about bees, now it's time to make one. For this craft, you'll need paper plates, popsicle sticks, a pair of scissors. Please make sure you have an adult present and you use these very safely. A glue gun or glue stick, whatever your preference is. Markers or colored pencils. You can find all of these at your local dollar store. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do with my paper plate is, because it has like this high part around the plate, I'm going to cut this off so I just have the circle in the middle. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, and if you get a paper plate that is already kind of flat, you don't have to do this. All right, so you should look something like this. And now you have kind of a circle. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut around it so it has more of an oval shape, kind of like a bee's body. And I'm gonna do it a little bit more one more time. It's still kind of big. All right, so your bee body should look something like this. So I went ahead and I also got a black plate to make it a little easier for myself, but you can also use black construction paper, or you can use another one of those round plates that I had earlier. And I'm going to use this black plate, this black square plate, to cut out my wings. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut my plate in half. So here's my half, and then I'm going to cut a triangle right in the middle. Let's see. There we go. And then now I'm going to round out my edges and kind of make my wings a little bit smaller. And cut them into a kind of a bee shape. Haha, bee. So your wings should look a little bit like this. So let me try again with my other one. So the first thing we do is going to cut our triangle. Now I have my almost bee. And now I want to take both of my wings together, and I just want to see if they kind of match up. And if you like, just cut off a couple of excess pieces. They don't have to be perfect. But they can be similar. And you should have something that looks like this. Buzz. Now that my glue gun is nice and warm, I am going to put glue onto my bee body so that my wings are both black on each side. You only need a small bit of glue, only a small bit. And you're going to press it into your bee's body. There you go. And you're going to do the other thing. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. Press it ever so gently onto the bee's body. And it's starting to look a little bee-like. Now I'm going to take my popsicle sticks and glue them like stripes across my bee. And I'm going to take about 5 of these. So you only need a couple bit of glue. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. And it should look something like this. So now, this is the fun part. You've got your wings, you've got your stripes, so now you can color it in. And I think I'm gonna get a little creative. So you would color the white parts yellow. And I think I might get a little creative with the stripes on the bees and make them kind of funky. And all right, so I did some really creative designs. I did some swirls, a couple squiggly lines to represent my bee. And the last thing I'm going to do before I draw the face is put some pipe cleaners as antennae. All right, so I have my pipe cleaners. I think I want to do silver, just because I want a little sparkle. And I am going to fold it in half. And then I'm going to take my scissors carefully. Now I have 2. Then I'm going to get my swirl. And this can be a little tricky, so just be a little patient with it. I think I like the way that one looks, so I'll do my other one. And if you want to like line them up to try to get them to look a little identical, you can do that. Okay, now I have my antennae. And I'm going to glue it onto the back. And I still have my glue gun nice and hot. So I'm just going to take one little drop. Then I'm going to take one more. One more little drop. And now I have a pollinator and a flower ready to receive its bee. And if you want, you can put googly eyes on here. You can draw some eyes, a silly little cute face. You can draw a lot of things. So I hope you learned a lot today about flowers and pollinators. I hope you enjoyed your program, and I know your flower came out beautiful. 4-H of Prince George's County would like to thank the Prince George's Memorial Library Systems for having us host this program today. If you are curious about 4-H and want to know more, or you enjoyed this program so much and you would like to experience another one, please do not hesitate to reach out at jjones37@umd.edu. Also, you can follow us on social media on Facebook at Maryland 4-H or Instagram at Maryland 4-H. Thank you.